This market could explode this year. Hi, it's Charlie giving you today's video, sponsored by Tickmill. There's more information in the description box. If you would like to give Tickmill a try, do click on the link in the description box there. Great broker if anyone's looking there, based in the UK and all around the world. Okay, so let's go into the euro itself here. I'm recording this on Friday the 23rd of June even, and the euro dollar this year has got something interesting going on with it, because so far this year the euro has had a range of around about 600 pips. Okay, so it's done a range so far this year of 600 pips. So it was made right back here in January, literally just below 105, and it's made a high literally just below 111. So we'll take that as a 600 pip range. Right, okay. Now for some interesting figures, because Deutsche Bank did some research on the euro dollar maximum and minimum ranges over the course of every year from 1999 until this year, and we can see that the average range for the euro dollar was 17 big figures, as they've called it. So that's 1700 pips so far. Remember, we've only done 600 pips. We'll talk about that in a moment. So 1700 pips potential in it, and we've just gone a little bit higher than where this was taken, so we're a bit above 500 now. We're at 600 pips. Okay, so are we likely to do 1700 pips this year? Anything is possible and feasible, but let's assume not. However, could we do 1000 pips? So way down on its average. Is it possible to do 1000 pips? I would like to think that that's more than achievable. So let's have a look at this euro dollar chart here. Zoom out and let's have a look. So I think this is something for some of you who like trading currencies to keep an eye on. We've got the highs of the euro dollar up there at 111. We've got the lows down here, let's call it, down here at 105. If the euro breaks to the high, bearing in mind we've only now got 6 months left of the year, we're halfway through the year, so I think if we break to the high, I doubt we'd break to the high and come all the way to the downside. Likewise, if we come to the downside, I doubt we're going to do that and then come all the way back up. So the likelihood from a range expansion perspective is that whichever way the euro breaks, whether it breaks to the downside down here or it breaks to the upside up here, then there'll be some form of follow through there. So if it just merely does 1000 pips for the year, then that would see the euro down potentially at 101. And of course, I'm being very arbitrary here. Who knows whether it does 1000 pips? It might only do 800 pips, or maybe it does 1300 pips, or maybe it even does 1700. I don't think so, and I'll explain why in a moment. So, but certainly, if it did a mere 1000 pips on the year, that would see it down towards 101 down there. And of course, to the upside, if it broke to the upside to do 1000 pips, that would take it from basically 105 to 115. Okay, so why do I not overly think that it's going to do its average? Well, let's take this to a yearly chart now. So now, taking this to a yearly chart, you can see just how small the range for this year is so far. Having said that, we are only halfway through, or just past halfway now. Well, no, literally just past. So it's still got 6 months to go to expand this range. So it's likely, nothing is guaranteed, but it's likely, based on historical statistics there, that we do expand our range. The one caveat was actually 2019, which actually did do a very low range for the year. Every other year has, even the small years. So let's have a look at that year for 2019. It made a high of 115.70, let's call it, and it made a low of 108 79, so we'll call that the same. So that even that year did what's that? 700 pips. So far, the euro's still only done 500 pips. Now, last year, the range was a high of, we'll call it 115, and it made a low of 95. So it did 2,000 pips last year. I think last year was an exceptional year because of all of everything that was going on in the world. So we're not expecting the euro to have that type of range. But a lot of the average ranges, if we take this one here, then the high of that year was 125. It made a low of 112. So that did 1,300 pips. Now, that average that I've just talked about, the average for the euro dollar since 1999, I think some of that's been skewed because of the financial crisis. We had some very, very big ranging years for a good few years through there. So I think that's brought that average range up. Having said that, outside of those, then still in the main, we see most years more than exceeding 1,000 pips, 1,200, 300, 500, etc., etc. So there you go. It's just a little bit of information there for you. If we take this back now down to a daily chart and zoom it back out, and a little bit of a reminder, just to mark it in your notebook, for example, to say, right, okay, 111 could get interesting. 105 down here could get interesting. And that's enough from me today. Comments on a postcard by all means, but I thought I'd just share that information with you today on the euro dollar.